Dan Gregory is one half of the strategic and creative team responsible for the launch of Coke Zero. It was the most successful new product launch in Australian history. Dan is the creative director at Australia's largest independent advertising group. He is a rare voice for truth in a world of spin, and he's a regular on the ABC TV's Grew and Transfer. Dan Gregory, welcome to 5 Minutes with O.
Thanks, Leanne.
You're now the creative director at Australia's largest independent advertising agency. Congratulations on that, by the way. But what we want to know is, how does that relate to keynote speaking? Like, who hires you as a keynote speaker?
Look, to be honest, it's as varied as the clients I work for in the advertising game. You know, I've had lots of people call me in. For instance, in the past 3 weeks, I've worked for Merck Sharp and Dome. I've done work for the Banana Growers Conference, and I've also done work for the Queensland Environmental Law Association. So it's a really broad mix of people with all looking for something different.
We know that pharmaceutical companies are sales companies, but there's banana growers in there, and you've got law societies. That's different.
Well, we're all in the business of engaging people. It might be engaging, shareholders, or it might be engaging employees, or it might be engaging the broader community. So the Queensland Environmental Law Association is about engaging the community with the changes that are happening, with the new ways we have to be more sustainable in our businesses. And the banana growers, well, they've just gone through a really, really terrible year. They've been hit by floods, they've been hit by cyclones. So they're about rebuilding their business and engaging the community with what they're doing.
Dan, you're an obvious choice for sales teams. And leadership teams I can understand. But whole staff audiences, what can you do to add value there?
Well, it's really about everyone being involved in the business of engagement. Even if you're in customer service, you're right on the coalface and talking to people about engagement. And with social media being so incredibly powerful at the moment, everyone needs to be engaged with the vision of the company. Everyone needs to be singing from the same song sheet. And you need to be thinking about internal marketing as well as external marketing, so that you have your people, when they go onto their social media, when they're on their blogs, that the message that they spread is congruent with the message of the organisation.
So Dan, you're actually proposing that all staff be involved in social media?
I think it's a real problem if the senior staff have a really clear vision and the staff beneath them aren't engaged in that message and aren't sharing that message and spreading it on their behalf.
Dan, can you explain to us about being a stand, not a brand? What does that mean?
Well, I think the difference between building a brand and building a stand is in what you sell. When you're building a brand, you're selling a product. When you're building a stand, you're selling a vision. You're making a contribution. You're having all of your people gather around an idea that's bigger than just shifting a product. And I think that's important. And that's what consumers are expecting from corporations today. They're expecting people to behave at a higher level of accountability, to be more honest, to have a greater level of integrity. And I think engaging people around that stand, what you believe in, what you're passionate about, is key to bringing people to your organisation, both as consumers and as employees.
So when you work with the leadership team, you'd be working on that, being a stand, not a brand, but then you actually roll it out through the whole organisation.
Definitely, and you've just got to look at some of the most engaging organisations around the world. You look at someone like Apple or a Nike. They've got CEOs that have a message, that share their vision, and the vision is portable. It can be picked up and carried through the organisation by anyone, and that's really what I'm talking about.
I'm understanding better when you talk about internal versus external marketing. The external is when, you're selling it outside the organisation, but it's also very important, the internal, selling it inside the organisation.
Yeah, and it's also to do with a shift that's happening in the way we communicate with people these days. The way we used to communicate with people was very hierarchical. It was a very push-based model. It was me speaking and you listening. But the way we communicate with people today at all levels is far more based on a pull model, because people want to be engaged in conversations, and it doesn't matter if it's employees or consumers. People want to have a say in the way you behave and in shaping the companies and the corporations that we're building.
All right, now just the fun bit, because just seeing your head here on the screen, people aren't going to know how fun it is when you come and present.
Okay.
I know, I love the Coke Zero story that you tell, Give us an idea of some of the fun bits.
Okay, well, the Coke Zero was the most successful new product launch in Australian history.
Which you did.
Which I worked on. So that was an incredible experience. And another great case study that I talk about is the Mother relaunch. Now, Mother was an energy drink that launched in Australia but was an incredible failure.
Yeah.
It generated 90% trial and almost 90% active rejection. So to turn a product like that around, to have it become, the #1 product by volume and by SKU within probably 8 to 12 weeks was an incredible experience. And what it really spoke to was when you get a whole organisation engaged, when you get a whole organisation coming from a place of integrity and telling the truth and sharing a common vision, powerful things happen.
Dan Gregory, thank you for spending 5 minutes with O.
Cheers, Leanne. Thank you.